Good morning, good afternoon, whatever time it is that you're watching this. It's a little after noon here in Southeast Michigan. It's about 34 degrees and sunny today, which is a real treat for us in February. And I am in the process of getting everything set up to begin laying down insulation in luan for the floors. We got this pretty cool accordion style green guard foam insulation, which will help with some of the issues that we have that you will see right here. Here's the insulation that we got. I believe it is a 1/4 inch thick. I think it's like a 1/4 inch thick or something like that. But the issue was that we have these metal brackets all over the place from the seat belts and securements that they would use to secure wheelchairs on the bus when they would pick them up. And so we needed something that would not remove too much floor space or not lift the floor too much, because it's a pretty close fit between the floor and my head already. There's really only about 2 inches of gap space, and so we didn't want to take too much of that out. So we reduced it as much as possible. I think it's going to end up being about 1/2 inch of space that we're taking out with the insulation and flooring, and then probably another like 1/4 inch that we're taking out with the luan and the cedar planks on the ceiling. So it's going to be a pretty close fit for me. Barefoot it'll be a little bit easier, so I'll just have to remember to take my shoes off when I walk through. But that's what we're up to today. As you can see, we've still got the compound miter saw out. We're going to be using that for cutting pieces of the floor. Hopefully today, this evening, I think, before I shut everything down, you can see here where I started trying to dig the styrofoam out of the wall. I think I mentioned yesterday that I was going to replace it with Havelock wool insulation, but decided against the process of scraping all of the well-fixed styrofoam out of the walls. So we're going to use this Great Stuff Big Gap Filler, which is an insulation, a spray insulation. You see it a lot of times, like, see there around plumbing, to keep air from flowing through holes in the wall. And it's pretty easy once it cures to cut it down with a serrated knife. So before the end of the day, we're going to fill those gaps with the Great Stuff and put the diesel heater in here to run overnight, because it cures best between 60 and 75 degrees. And then tomorrow we will put the insulation up the wall as well and begin putting the luan on the walls. So that's where we're at with that. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I will check in with you just a little bit later. So these brackets, we're not really willing or able to get closer to the subflooring here, no matter what I was doing with them. So I decided to apply a little or a lot of brute force to them with a mallet, and broke off the pieces that were, most of the pieces that were elevated from the subfloor above, keeping them flat to the floor. And so that resolves a little bit of the issue. And now I'm about ready to start laying down the insulation. Talk soon. I decided before I go any further that I'm going to go ahead and fill these crevices with the Great Stuff big gap filler. This is what the can looks like. There's another one that's for small spaces. It would be used for filling in areas like this, but since we are laying down the insulation, I didn't want to not be able to move forward in that. I will just allow it to cure overnight with the diesel heater going in here. There's a handy dandy little spray nozzle that goes on here. It just fits right on top, and then you it just fits right on top, and as you can tell, there's a trigger, and then you will use that direction nozzle to fill up the space that needs to be filled. I don't know if I can do this with one hand, so let's see what I can do here. Besides put my big ass foot in the way. Oh, all right, that's not gonna work. I'll be back. So here's just a quick little visual of what this stuff looks like. This is the green guard siding underlayment. It's actually designed to go underneath the siding of a house. It is it's made by a company called Kingspan Insulation. It is about 1/4 of an inch thick, 4 feet wide and 50 feet long. My bus is about a little more than 8 feet wide, and the living space is about 16 feet long. So we have more than enough to be able to do what we need on the floors here, and we bought about 100 feet of this stuff. So we are going to actually put some up, I think, behind the luan of the walls, just as an extra layer of support, and to prevent any air seepage that might happen in the future from any like shifting or cracks or holes in the subfloor in between the body and the frame. So just a little bit of an extra precaution is all. Anyway, just wanted to give you a little heads up about what's going on and what the beginning of this process looks like. See you soon. So here's just a quick little preview. As you see, we got our little diesel heater going up out here to try to keep things comfortable while we're out here working, but we got the first couple of sheets down of the insulation, just held in place with a couple of screws here and there so that it doesn't shift. The great stuff is doing its job there in the bottom. Little lesson learned, it says that it likes to be sprayed between 60 and 75 degrees, and I think that that is true. It was a mess spraying that cold great stuff out of the can, and it is very, 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 very sticky. So here we go. We're gonna lay down our first sheet of luan, and we'll be back in just a bit. Alrighty, so this is actually a wrap-up video for days 3 and 4. So this video became a 2-day project. I ran out of daylight yesterday, so did not get the opportunity to wrap it up. Plus we were just going to be working on the same project, so I wanted to just go ahead and make one video for it. But as you can see, we have the luan up and down. Up on the bottom parts of the walls, this is where the cabinets are going to be. Kitchen, closet, there's going to be a built-in table. We got the floors all laid down with the green stuff and the luan. All of our edges cut in. A neat little trick that I learned today to make the mold or the pattern for your back corners, courtesy of my dad, is to lay down the plywood and use a washer, a metal washer, and put your pencil in there and run it, set it up against the wall and trace the curve of the wall that way. And using that tool, we got a nice, beautiful little curve there. And we started putting the luan up on the upper side of the walls too, so it is a really nice look when you first walk in. It is actually already sort of going from having the appearance of a bus to the appearance of a home, and I'm pretty excited about it. It is Super Bowl Sunday, so I am going to call it a wrap because the game starts about an hour and a half and I need food. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.